Hi, it's Dorothy Guinan with Scrapbooking Quebec. In this video, I'm going to share the layouts I created in September 2023. I created 29 pages with the kit I put together at the beginning of the month. Here's what I started with. It was a kit based on 6 collections, and I ended up only using 5 of them. If you want a closer look at this kit, I will put a link to the kit building video below. Before starting, there are a few things I'd like to mention. There are layout process videos for some of these pages, so they will be listed and linked below. Also, throughout the share, sometimes I'll put one layout on the table, then the coordinating page. These are double page spreads that started with a single page layout, then I stretched it. At the end of this video, there will be still shots, so you will get a second look at all of these layouts. And finally, I did cover up some of the photos. So without further ado, let's get started. The first 4 pages I created with Chanel's main character energy collection. Now, the first thing I want to say is when I shared this collection at the beginning of the month, I mentioned that I bought the collection because I found it fun. I loved it, but I was well aware that it was outside of my comfort zone. Just an observation, I had so much fun playing with it, but the end result was pages that looked different for me, in the sense that I use bolder colors and I also mixed up patterns more than I typically do. So that was really, really fun. Now this layout here, I created it as a single page layout, and you're going to see in a few moments I did stretch it into a double page spread. Now this page design, you're going to see it pops up 2 more times in this layout share. I copied it 2 more times. I had so much fun with it, but each one, in my opinion, looks very different. So I'm using either different colors or a different collection, but also the page I created to coordinate with it is different as well, and that really changes things up. In this case, you can see the page 2, which is on the page 1. I filled it up with photos. I reserved 1 block for a title and embellishing, and it forms a visual triangle with the page on the right. So very, very easy. So I'm keeping the original page there because here's another page, the very same page design. So yes, you can tell it's the same page design. The colors are definitely very different. And you're going to see when I place the page 2 down, it definitely looks different than the 2 previous pages. I'm just pointing out the blocks on this page. I created those with mixed media. Basically, I took white cardstock with a stencil and some volume paste. Then I watercolored on top of that, cut out the blocks, and placed it on my foundation page. Now, I'm not much of a mixed media person, and mostly I don't like it because I don't like my pages warped or bumpy. However, I found this technique kind of interesting because what I did was once I did all that mixed media, I cut the blocks out, then adhered them on top of a flat foundation page. So the bumpiness was just on top of the flat foundation page. It worked for me. I really had fun with that technique. You can see the coordinating page I created to go with it. Again, these 2 pages look very different than the previous 2 pages, but I started out with the very same page design, the first page I created. So that's really, really fun. I love how you can use the same page design and make things look so incredibly different. Now I'm changing collections. The next 11 pages I created with the Mercy Tierra Kit Club's kit for August 2023. That kit was called Outdoorsy. It was made with 3 different collections, 2 from Simple Stories from Boho Sunshine and Trail Mix. And she also mixed in some Cartavella from the Here, There, and Everywhere collection. This page here, I created it as a single page spread. You can see I did add my tools to create some embellishments. I also did that big stamp at the bottom, that pizza man. And in my kit share at the beginning of the month, I put in this stamp set from Stampin' Up. I challenged myself to use it because it's been unused in my scrap room. And before I put a tool away, I do like to use it because I find if I use it and then put it away, I seem to remember that I have it. But if I put it away before I use it, it's like I forget it's there. So it's just a way for me to remember the tools that I have in my stash. Here's another page I created with the Outdoorsy collection. This one I used a sketch as a jumping off point. The sketch was from Creative Scrappers, and it was a sketch that was provided on the Facebook page for Mercy Tierra's Kit Club. You don't have to be part of the Kit Club to actually be part of that Facebook group. Anyway, there is a monthly challenge, and in August it was a sketch challenge. Now to stretch it, I'm going to show you the second page I created, and you're going to see it looks very familiar. That's because what I did was I mirrored the sketch. What I created was a companion page. These are two different stories, but they're going to go side by side in my album. And on the right, there is a layout process video in real time for that page where I talk about the mirroring technique, which is great for stretching a single page into a double page. It's also good for just switching up a tried and true design that you want to make look different. Anyway, that video is in real time, so it's super, super long, and I will list it and link it below. The next page is a double page spread, so I created these two pages simultaneously. This one here is also based on a sketch, and you're going to see the sketch a little bit later on during this layout share. It was the sketch for the Stretch the Sketch YouTube hop, and that is the YouTube hop where we start with a single page sketch, a 12 by 12 sketch, and we either stretch it or we shrink it. I am showing you a stamp and die set from Stampin' Up called Queen Bee. Again, more tools that I put in my kit in September that I hadn't used and that I wanted to use. So I'm showing you that I created some embellishments. Basically on this page, I created two bees, actually three bees, two big bees and one small bee. I also dug into some other tools on that layout, some tree dies as well. Now, I just showed you the simple story segment of the Outdoorsy collection from Mercy Tierra. What I'm about to show you is the same Outdoorsy collection, but it's the Carta Bella segment. Once again, a double page spread, and it is the same sketch that I spoke about just a moment ago, the one that you will see a little bit later on that I used for Stretch the Sketch. But you can see already from the page I showed you before with all the trees and the bumblebees, this looks completely different, but basically it's the same page design. Now there are things that are different, of course, like I changed up the placement of the title and the journaling, but the embellishment clusters are placed in the same spot. They are just different. The material's different. It's a great example of how the same design can make really different pages. Here's another one from that same Outdoorsy collection. So these are heritage layouts. I created the page on the right first as a single page, and to coordinate with it, I created a 9-block grid. So pretty simple there. For the 9-block grid, I used a stencil, a page template, I guess it's called, from Simple Stories. They have a bunch of different grid templates, and it makes placement of grids really, really easy, especially for multi-block grids like that 9-block grid. And it was so easy that I used it again, and you'll see that in a moment. This one here I created as a single page spread, excuse me, once again, part of this Outdoorsy collection. And you can see I did that 9-block grid to stretch it into a double page spread. So you can see I did the 9-block grid once again as a companion page, but they look completely different. First of all, they're placed on different sides. I'm using different material, and the coordinating page is different. And all of that creates really different layouts, even though a lot of it is similar. Now I'm going to change collection. So the next 6 pages I created with the Hip Kit Club's September 2022 release. That collection was called It's a New Day. This is the double page spread I created on YouTube for Stretch the Sketch. So you can see you've already seen twice during this layout share, more or less, this page design. There are differences, but it's basically the same page design, and they all look really, really different. So it's really fun how that works. I am showing you the original sketch. It was for the Dusty Attic by Jen Hedger, I think. Anyway, I will link and list that video below if you want to see how this double page spread came together. Now the next 4 pages for this Hip Kit Club collection, I kind of mixed up the order of the photos and I apologize. This one here, I created it as a single page layout, and in a moment you're going to see I dig out. There is a page I've already showed you. I used the very same sketch, the very same page design. It's the one that was part of the part of Mercy Tierra's Kit Club's challenge there. That is the very same sketch as my jumping off point. I have a different number and orientation of photos. The title placement is different, but essentially it was the same jumping off point, and they look very, very different. Now here's where I mess up a bit, and I apologize. I'll pop the real coordinating page up in the corner. The page I'm showing you on the left isn't really the page that goes with the page on the right, and I apologize for that. They do coordinate, but honestly, that's not how I meant it to go. Same thing for the next 2 pages. So I'm going to show you one page here. I created it as a single page layout. Very fun, very simple. The photos and embellishments are all kind of crooked, which made it quick for me because I didn't have to measure anything. And I'm showing you a coordinating page, but it's not the coordinating page. Again, I'm popping up the real double pager up in the corner there. And you will also see the real double pager in the still shots at the end of this video. I'm also showing you I did create a little photo flap there with extra photos. The pages don't look bad side by side. That's because they all come from the same collection, but I made a mistake when I was doing this layout share. The next 4 pages I created with the Echo Park Papers Fall Fever collection. So I created this one as a single page layout, pretty simple, a border design with one big embellishment cluster, some journaling, and a title. And here is the coordinating page. So a 4-block grid. I used that same technique I mentioned earlier, that mixed media technique where I used a stencil, volume paste, some watercolors, and then cut it out into blocks and adhered it onto a flat foundation page. I am going to be revisiting that technique. I really do like it. For the embellishing here, I use dies. Those sunflowers are from Stampin' Up, and the leaf dies were probably from a few different leaf die sets from my stash. Now the next page I created it as a single page, and you're going to see I did stretch it, and you're going to notice this is the same page design I showed you earlier. I already showed you 2 layouts with the very same page design. For this one here, I did it on YouTube for the Scrapbook Nerd, so that video will be listed and linked below. It really was a fun technique. I basically started with 3 blocks, kind of worked with the blocks, then adhered them to the page, and finished it with some more embellishing. And it was really a great way to use up collections, and it was a great way to come up with something different as I was building. I don't know if that makes sense. It was just really kind of fun how it came together. You can see the page too, and just because today is just today, that's supposed to go on the opposite side. The page I'm showing you, the coordinating page, is meant to go on the right, not on the left. Anyway, you can see it up there in the corner along with the at the end of this video as well. I'm also showing you I made a little photo flap where I incorporated 2 extra photos. That's a photo of a mother bird feeding her babies. Quite amazing. She's literally shoving a giant worm down her baby's throat. It was quite amazing. I was about 2 feet away. Now I'm changing collections. The last 4 pages was with the My Story collection by Simple Stories. This one I did on YouTube again for the Scrapbook Nerd, so that will be listed and linked below. I'm showing you the coordinating page. So once again, I just kind of filled up the page with photos, left 1 block empty, and that's where I put an embellishment cluster. This was kind of fun actually because I put 2 page kits in my kit this month. as a way to use up this My Story Simple Stories collection. I love the collection, but for some reason, I wasn't using it. So what I did was I created 2 page kits to kind of narrow down my selection, and it ended up working. I used everything that I put in my kit this month. So that was really, really fun. I'm leaving this page out because once again, I did copy it, and I'm going to show you the other one. So I used the very same collection. Yes, it is the same page design, but the material is different, so it looks a bit different. But what's really different is the coordinating page. So there you go. There is the coordinating page. It is on the opposite side of the other 2 pages, meaning that the original page I created for one of them, in this case, it's on the left. For the other one, it's on the right. Anyway, there's lots of ways you can make it look different. Now what I'm going to show you is what I didn't use that I put in my kit in September. This doesn't go on long. I just want to mention what I did and why I did what I did. I ended up not touching the Lovely Blooms collection by Pink Fresh Studio, which is absolutely beautiful. I had the paper, I have a bunch of the embellishments, but what I noticed about 3 weeks into the 4, I hadn't touched the collection, and I was already having tons, or I should say still having tons of fun with what I did have in my kit. So I ended up packing this away because I have a section in my scrap room where I keep material that I haven't touched before. And at the beginning of each month, that's where I go shopping, so to speak, for my material for the month. And for me, it's really appealing to have stuff that hasn't been picked through yet. So when I noticed 3 into the 4 weeks I hadn't touched this one, I decided to pack it up and put it away for a future month, that's all. I'm also going to show you a die set that was in my kit this month that I didn't touch, this Heart Pocket die set from the scrapbook.com. It's been kicking around since May. I really want to use it, so I'm going to be putting that in my kit in October. I am determined I want to use that die set. So basically that's it, and I'm about to show you the still shots for all of these layouts. I hope you enjoyed this layout share. If you did, I'd greatly appreciate a thumbs up. Let me know if you have any questions. I read and respond to all of the comments, but sometimes it does take me a little while. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, Scrapbooking Quebec, I would be thrilled if you did. And if you are a subscriber, thank you very, very much. Have a great day, and I'll be back on YouTube tomorrow with my October Scrappy Kit and Plans video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.